The story begins with a jail in Siberia, where we see a lot of German soldiers standing in line. In fact, after the end of World War II, many German soldiers were taken prisoner by Russia, and they were made to work day and night in coal mines. Although the security of this jail was not very good, no one dared to escape from this jail, because there was only snow on every side of this jail for many kilometers. And the human settlement was about 14,000 kilometers away from here. Therefore, if a prisoner thought of running away in a dream, then his death was certain in the freezing cold of Siberia. This jail was deliberately built in the middle of thousands of kilometers of snow. Therefore, no prisoner has ever thought of running away from here. But there was a prisoner among these prisoners who was very clever, and he wanted to run away from this jail and go back to his family. Actually, he had to serve a sentence of 25 years in this jail, and the name of this prisoner was Clayman Foyle. However, Clayman did not want to spend half of his life in this jail. He wanted to run away from this jail at any cost. Fortunately, one day Clayman got a chance to run away, and he immediately got into a lorry and escaped from this jail. Now outside the jail, when he saw the stars in the open sky, he happily danced. He had just reached a little far, then that lorry was stopped. And when Clayman peeped out, a Russian soldier was standing in front of him with a gun. Unfortunately, Clayman was caught, and in the crime of running away from the jail, he was locked in a cell. Clayman was kept in that cell for 2 days. Finally, he was taken out after 2 days, and the jail warden told him that your companions are impatiently waiting for you. As soon as Clayman went back to jail, his companions were waiting for him with sticks and sticks. All the prisoners were very angry at Clayman because they had not been able to eat for the last 2 days because of Clayman's escape. Now, as soon as the rest of the prisoners saw Clayman, they started throwing sticks at him, which injured Clayman badly. And then he had to be admitted to the jail hospital. The doctor in this jail was also a German prisoner. As soon as he regained consciousness, Clayman told the doctor, "I want to run away from the jail again and I need your help." Dr. Clayman was stunned to see his passion. The doctor explained to him that it is impossible to escape from this jail alive. And if you somehow get out of here, you will not return in the cold outside. But the truth is that even if you stay here, your death is certain, because the coal that you work in, there is a lot of carbon in it, which enters your body through the air, causing serious diseases such as cancer. For this reason, the doctor advised Clayman that you should definitely try to get out of this jail for the last time. After this, the doctor gave Clayman all his warm clothes, shoes, and everything he needed. He also told him that Russian soldiers hide their food near the railway line. On the way, he also gave Clayman a gun so that he could protect himself. Actually, the doctor had already collected so much stuff, because one day he himself wanted to escape from this jail. But a week ago, he found out that he was a cancer patient, and he had only 1 month left. After this, he gave Clayman a lunchbox and said that if you return alive, then send this lunchbox to my family and say that I am no more. Now after a while, in the dark of the night, Clayman ran away from the jail again, and this time he decided to walk instead of riding a cart. Now, the next morning, the warden finds out that Clayman has run away from the jail, so he immediately goes to the doctor's room to ask him. But before he came, the doctor had taken his life. After all this, the warden called many Russian soldiers and ordered to bring Clayman back alive. However, even after many days of searching, he could not find Clayman. Now, everyone in the jail started thinking that Clayman must have died long ago. But the warden does not give up, because he knew that Clayman is very strong and he cannot die so easily. That's why the warden ordered to continue the search operation. Then on the other side, we see Clayman, who was moving forward with all his strength against the snowstorm. It had been 9 days since he had run away from the jail, when he suddenly heard the barking of dogs. When he turned around, he saw that a sledge was coming towards him fast. Before he could do anything to escape, the sledge passed over him and went ahead. At this moment, Clayman opened his eyes and found out that all this was just a dream. Actually, it had been 9 days since Clayman had walked, and all his food was over. He was in a bad condition due to hunger and fatigue. It seemed almost impossible to move forward, but Clayman did not give up and kept walking. After a few more days, his body also stopped supporting him, and he fainted due to hunger. After many hours, when he regained consciousness, he heard a strange voice around him. Then Clayman's eyes fell on a seal, and his eyes sparkled when he saw it. He immediately pulled out his gun and tried to aim with all his strength. But due to fatigue and weakness, his aim was wrong, and the seal started running away from there. After a few days, Clayman got a small hope of survival, which he did not want to let go of his hands. Clayman immediately ran after him. As soon as he was about to shoot, the seal hid behind a rock. Before he could get into the water, Clayman shot his last bullet, and he was lucky to hit him. Look at this. Clayman happily got up because now he did not have to worry about food in his journey. After a few days, Clayman ate his fill, and after a little rest, he started his journey again. In this long journey, Clayman was all alone, and there was nothing around him except snow. In such an environment, his mental condition could deteriorate, so he kept talking to himself. And by saying positive things, he kept raising hope in himself. Along with this, he kept looking at the compass all the time, so that he would not get lost in this snowy place. Such days passed. After continuously walking for 2 months, Clayman saw a small tree in this snowy field. Seeing this tree, Clayman was so happy as if he had got a treasure in his hand. Then he ran and hugged him. Actually, this tree was a sign that this snowy field ends here and the forest is going to start ahead. On the other hand, the warden who was still looking for Clayman, he ordered his soldiers to find Clayman within a distance of 500 kilometers. Then we see Clayman, who was moving forward in the forest, that suddenly a snowstorm came. Trees growing at the speed of the storm also started falling from the ground. Clayman tries to move forward, then a big tree falls directly on him. Clayman was lucky that 2 men were passing through there in search of gold. They saved his life at the right time. After that, all 3 of them moved forward together. And after a long journey, they left the snowy field. On the way, they found a river, which they made a wooden boat to cross. But in the meantime, the flow of the river became fast, and the boat began to get out of control. In this situation, one of his men lost his balance and fell into the water. Seeing this, Clayman immediately jumped into the water and somehow pulled that man to the shore and saved his life. On the other hand, his other companion leaves them there and moves forward alone. And out of greed, he also kept his friend's gold with him. After a while, when Clayman and the other man reached the tent, that man got very angry at his friend and shot him in anger. After that, Clayman and that man picked up all the luggage and continued their journey. For many months, they kept walking in the hope that they would find a human settlement. But again, due to the cold, the forests on all sides were covered in white snow. The luggage that man had picked up was quite heavy, so he was having trouble walking in the snow. Seeing this, Clayman tried to lighten his burden and said that he should give him his luggage for a while. But here that man suspected that maybe Clayman also wants to steal his gold. That's why he attacked Clayman and pushed him down, which made Clayman unconscious. After a while, when Clayman regained consciousness, he saw that a flock of wolves was moving towards him. To save his life, Clayman started climbing a tree. But while climbing, a wolf grabbed his leg. Unfortunately, the tree turned out to be weak and broke in the middle, causing Clayman to fall down. Now Clayman felt that his end was near. That's when he heard a gunshot. When Clayman opened his eyes, he saw that all the wolves had died. In fact, the hunters of the area came at the last moment and saved his life. They took him to their village, where the villagers treated him. After years of hard work, Clayman had finally reached a human settlement. He stayed in that village for many days, where people took good care of him. One day, a letter came to the village. This letter was not sent by anyone else, but by the warden. It said that a German soldier has escaped from our jail, and if anyone helps him, he will also be killed. Seeing this, Clayman decided to leave the village, because if he didn't go from there, the warden would also punish those villagers. Before leaving, the villagers gave him a hunting dog with food and water. The amazing thing was that Clayman was not alone in this long journey. They walked together for many days. Only after a while they saw a wooden factory, and in search of dog food, they ran after him. Clayman went inside behind his dog. After that, the workers recognized Clayman and took him to the master. Hearing Clayman's story, the master also felt pity for him. After that, they fed him and made him sit in the train going to Germany. Clayman was happy that he could finally go home. But who knew that the master had already informed the warden? On the other hand, the warden was waiting for him at the station with his soldiers. But before reaching the station, Clayman saw the soldiers from a distance. As soon as he got a chance, he jumped out of the train and ran away. Unfortunately, the Russian soldiers saw him and they followed him. Clayman tried to get out of there quickly, but then suddenly the warden reached there. Seeing this, Clayman's heart broke. Now, before the warden arrested him, Clayman's dog attacked the warden and bit him, and so once again, Clayman risked his life and ran away from there. But then, he heard the sound of bullets, and when he turned around, he found his dog dead. Seeing this, Clayman was very sad. But despite this, he did not stop and kept running fast. Then he jumped over the train passing under a bridge and escaped from there. Before the warden could do anything, Clayman had gone very far. Such days passed, but Clayman did not give up. Now the year is 1952. and it had been 7 years since Clayman ran away from jail. At this time, Clayman was in Central Asia and was roaming in a village fair. At that fair, a lot of food was being sold. Standing there, Clayman was very hungry, but his pocket was empty. So he kept a stone on his heart and started moving forward. Then he saw 2 girls at the fair who were selling pancakes there. Clayman's heart was making him eat pancakes, but he did not have a single coin in his pocket, so he was disappointed and moved forward. But as soon as he started going there, one of the girls felt pity for him, and he broke a piece of pancake and took it to Clayman. In the beginning, Clayman was a little hesitant, but then he took the pancake and ate it. On the other hand, a Jewish man present at the fair saw all this. After a while, Clayman reached the church, and behind him, that man also reached there. Actually, this man had also been a German prisoner before. That's why he understood Clayman's condition. And instead of handing over to the police, he decided to help him. Along with this, he took him to his house, where Clayman shaved himself after many years, and once again returned to his old form. After this, that man gave him a new passport, so that he could cross the Russian border and go to Germany. Now, before leaving, Clayman thanked him and left for the border. After a few days, he reached the Russian border and showed the passport to the soldier standing there. Here, Clayman was afraid that the soldier would not recognize him, or his fake passport would not be caught. But fortunately, everything was fine, and he got permission to cross the border. Seeing this, Clayman's happiness was no longer there, and he moved on with a smile. Now, as soon as he reached the halfway of the bridge, suddenly, a bright light fell on his eyes, and when he opened his eyes, the warden was standing in front of him. He turned around and saw that he was still standing on the Russian border. That is, the arrest could have happened at any time. At that moment, there was no sound from Clayman's throat, because he felt that his years of hard work would go in vain now. But then came a moment that even he did not expect. The warden left the way without saying anything, and let Clayman go ahead. Now at first, Clayman did not believe, but when he believed, he moved forward with trembling steps. Actually, the warden was very impressed with his courage and commitment to stay alive. That's why he released him instead of arresting him. After this, Clayman crossed that border and finally reached Germany. There, he turned his house, and after years, he saw his wife and daughter. Now after a while, when they left for church, Clayman also followed them there. His daughter's eyes fell on him inside the church, and she ran and hugged him. After so many years, seeing her husband in front of her, her wife's eyes were filled. And finally, with the strong intentions of Clayman, he was able to meet his family again. At that moment, the 3 hugged each other, and this beautiful meeting became the end of the film based on this wonderful true story. So friends, I hope you liked this heart-touching movie. If you liked it, then like the video and subscribe to channel and press the bell icon for upcoming videos.